In the grand tapestry of ancient Egypt, one name shines brighter than almost any other: Tutankhamun, the boy king, the golden pharaoh. His story is one of intrigue, mystery, and a discovery that would captivate the world. But who was the real Tutankhamun, beyond the glittering gold and the legendary curse? Let's journey back in time, over 3,000 years, to unravel the life, death, and incredible rediscovery of this iconic ruler. Our story begins around 1332 BC, a time of massive upheaval in Egypt.
Ho, ho, ho!
Tutankhamun's father was most likely the controversial Pharaoh Akhenaten. Akhenaten had turned Egypt on its head, abandoning the traditional pantheon of gods to worship a single deity, the sun disk Aten. This was a radical move, and it plunged the kingdom into religious and political turmoil. When Akhenaten died, the throne passed to a young boy originally named Tutankhaten, meaning living image of Aten. He was only about 9 years old when he became pharaoh.
Ho, ho, ho!
Can you imagine? A child ruling one of the most powerful empires on earth. Of course, he wasn't ruling alone. Powerful advisors, like the General Horemheb and the Vizier, were the true hands on the wheel. One of their first major decisions was to undo Akhenaten's revolution. They moved the capital back from Amarna to Thebes and restored the worship of the old gods, especially the powerful god Ammon. To signify this change, the young king changed his name to Tutankhamun, the living image of Ammon.
Ho, ho, ho!
This was a huge statement, a clear break from his father's legacy, and a return to tradition. Tutankhamun's reign lasted for about a decade. We don't have a lot of records about major wars or grand constructions from his time. His legacy was more about stabilization and restoration. He and his wife, Tutankhamun, who was also his half-sister, oversaw projects to repair the temples that had been neglected under Akhenaten. They were bringing Egypt back from the brink, healing the religious schism that had divided the nation.
Ho, ho, ho!
Inscriptions from his reign describe him as the one who spent his life making images of the gods, showing his dedication to this restoration. But his life was cut tragically short. Tutankhamun died when he was only about 18 or 19 years old. For a long time, the cause of his death was a complete mystery. Was he murdered? Was it an accident? Modern science has given us some incredible clues. CT scans of his mummy have revealed some interesting details.
Ho, ho, ho!
He had a clubfoot and likely walked with a cane. In fact, over 130 walking sticks were found in his tomb. He also suffered from multiple strains of malaria and had a severe, infected leg fracture shortly before he died. It seems the most likely scenario is that a combination of his poor health and this bad leg injury led to his untimely death. Not a dramatic assassination, but a sad end for a young king.
Ho, ho, ho!
Because his death was so sudden, his burial was rushed. It's believed that the tomb he was buried in was not originally intended for him. It was likely a smaller, private tomb that was quickly adapted for a pharaoh. And this, ironically, is what saved him from obscurity. After his death, his successors, particularly Horemheb, tried to erase the entire Amarna period from history. This included Akhenaten and, by extension, Tutankhamun. They chiseled his name off monuments and left him out of the official king lists.
Ho, ho, ho!
For thousands of years, Tutankhamun was a forgotten pharaoh. His small, unassuming tomb was buried under rubble from the construction of a later tomb, hiding it from the prying eyes of ancient tomb robbers. And so it remained hidden and untouched for over 3,200 years. This brings us to the early 20th century and a determined British archaeologist named Howard Carter. Carter had been searching for a lost pharaoh's tomb in the Valley of the Kings for years, funded by the wealthy Lord Carnarvon.
Ho, ho, ho!
Season after season, they found little, and Carnarvon was ready to pull the plug. But Carter convinced him to fund one last season in 1922. Carter decided to excavate an area of the valley that had been previously overlooked, right below the tomb of Ramesses VI. On November 4, 1922, their luck changed. A worker uncovered a single step cut into the rock. They cleared the debris and revealed a whole staircase leading down to a sealed doorway. The seals were still intact, bearing the royal necropolis insignia.
Ho, ho, ho!
Carter knew he was on the verge of something monumental. He sent a telegram to Lord Carnarvon in England telling him to come at once. 3 weeks later, on November 26th, with Carnarvon at his side, Carter made a tiny breach in the top corner of the sealed doorway. The air that escaped smelled of hot, ancient dust. He held up a candle and peered inside. Lord Carnarvon, standing anxiously behind him, asked, "Can you see anything?"
Ho, ho, ho!
Carter's reply has become one of the most famous phrases in the history of archaeology. Yes, wonderful things. What he saw was beyond his wildest dreams. The antechamber was filled to the brim with golden treasures. Gilded chariots, ornate couches shaped like mythical beasts, sentinel statues, and countless chests and boxes. And this was just the beginning? It took Carter and his team nearly a decade to carefully document, photograph, and clear the thousands of artifacts from the four-room tomb.
Ho, ho, ho!
The most spectacular discovery, of course, lay in the burial chamber. Here, they found a series of four massive, gilded shrines nested one inside the other like Russian dolls. Inside the final shrine was a quartzite sarcophagus. When they lifted the heavy lid, they found not one, but 3 coffins again nested together. The first 2 were made of gilded wood. But the final, innermost coffin was breathtaking. It was crafted from over 240 pounds, or 110 kilograms, of solid gold.
Ho, ho, ho!
And inside that golden coffin lay the mummy of Tutankhamun himself, his face covered by the single most iconic object from all of ancient Egypt, the magnificent golden death mask. Inlaid with lapis lazuli and other semi-precious stones, it's an image that has become synonymous with the wealth and artistry of the pharaohs. The discovery was a global sensation. It sparked a worldwide craze for all things Egyptian, a phenomenon known as Tutmania.
Ho, ho, ho!
But the story wasn't all golden. Soon after the tomb's opening, a series of misfortunes led to the legend of the curse of the pharaohs. Lord Carnarvon died just a few months later from an infected mosquito bite. Newspapers, eager for a sensational story, claimed it was the pharaoh's revenge. While it's a thrilling tale, there's no evidence of any real curse. Most people associated with the tomb, including Howard Carter himself, lived long and healthy lives.
Ho, ho, ho!
So, why is Tutankhamun so famous? It's not because he was a great warrior or a monumental builder. He is famous because his tomb is the only royal burial from the Valley of the Kings ever to be discovered. Read almost completely intact, it gave us an unprecedented, frozen-in-time snapshot of the wealth, craftsmanship, and beliefs surrounding a pharaoh's journey to the afterlife.
Ho, ho, ho!
The over 5,000 artifacts found inside, from golden daggers made of meteorite iron to simple board games, tell us more about this period than any other single discovery. Tutankhamun's legacy, then, is a paradox. In life, he was a relatively minor king who ruled for a short time. He was a restorer, not a conqueror. In death, he was erased from history by his own people. But thanks to a stroke of luck and the perseverance of an archaeologist, his name is now known across the globe.
Ho, ho, ho!
He is the Golden Pharaoh, the boy king, a symbol of the enduring mystery and splendor of ancient Egypt. His story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones that lie hidden, waiting to be found. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more adventures into history. See you next time.
Ho, ho, ho!